Hey, welcome to my shop. I'm Mitchell, and let's go ahead and get started building today. I'm about to glue the vertical piece in for the tail section. Look at all this stuff you gotta have. I used the hammer, but there was just a little bit of piece that was inside of the fuselage that needed to be broke loose, so I used this and the hammer to break that loose. Then I have this ready to go. I drilled a hole through both pieces so I can put a screw in here and have a real tight connection to pull that back with, because you can't really get your finger back up in here. And then the type of glue I use is the Loctite, and it's the EA9462. It's high sol. You'll usually get it like this. It comes with these applicators. I'm not going to use that today. I'm going to go ahead and just mix it on a card and apply what I need. You can always put this cap back on, and because this particular one has been used quite a bit, so it's about empty. But you can buy, when you're buying that stuff, you need to buy a gun. You don't need to buy multiples, because this one gun, I've done probably 2 years of work, but I have an extra one just in case something were to break on that. So it's always good to have a little extras. And of course these straws mix, the straws mix each other. It's got a little straw in there that everything mixes inside and comes out. It's great for, like, if you're going to need a real thin area to do this and just pump it out. Mixes it for you, it works great. It's a great tool. So let's get started here. I put some tape just to kind of secure everything, and I check the square on the horizontal versus the vertical. And then just to be sure, I got out my laser, and since everything's coming off the engine mount, I know that that's all level. So, and you're not going to be able to see it in the video, but the laser is going through, and it is indicating and telling me that that is in the center of everything. So I'm very happy with the way that came out. Every step we do is one step closer to getting ready to fly it. So we're about ready to put the tail section in. You can already tell by gluing to the bottom and fixing this, you can tell that it is already much more rigid. When this slides up here and keys in, I did have to cut a pretty sized notch in it to get that to work. It's going to tie all of this together, and it's going to be rock steady. One of the things I didn't tell you in the other video is why I like this type of glue. And the reason is early on I had this is epoxy resin. It has a lot of wax material that comes up to the surface in the molding process. So when you sand this down, it's like a million pinholes, and it was a horrible material. But nothing hardly would stick to the inside of this. The gluing wood to this was a nightmare, and I had formers, and these airplanes would pop loose, and so I had to do something. And somebody told me at the flying field that to use this high sol stuff, and it would stop that, and it did. It is the best glue for that. It's rock hard. It's steady. I mean, it just really steadies everything up and sticks like you just wouldn't believe. If you put that on here right now and tried to get off, you'll have to sand it and grind it off. It's not going to flake off unless you didn't prepare the surface correctly. So that's the reason I use the high sol. Just wanted to mention that a little bit. So let's mix some of this up and put our piece in. So we got it all mixed up. I'm going to put a piece of tape here and cover these holes up just so no glue will ease back off and cause trouble back in this part. All right, so that's pretty much done. We're going to add in this little, just to make sure it is a nice tight fit to the back. It gets a little glue on there. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We'll peel it off later. Now you know why I put the tape in there, to keep the glue from oozing out. It's pretty tight. And that's it. Okay, so while the tail is gluing up, I went ahead and put the cowl on. And I met a guy online by doing these videos. It's put me out there in front of some guys that are building who have built these or are building. The guy's right in the middle about where I'm at. And he made his whole cowl fixed to the fuselage and made it rigid. And I was going to put screws on, but after talking to him, I believe I'm going to do that. Now we have some alignment problems. This was somebody else had painted that and mounted this turbine in here. And if you look at the spacing on the back plate, it's pretty good. But if you come around to the front side, you can tell it's a little off center. And of course, that's not the back plate I'm going to be using. I need a bigger one. But you can tell it's not going to take much to get this in the center. And then this side's not bad at all. So just a little bit of work here. I did notice that of course, the blue plate and the motor is way, I mean, you can see it over there. I can actually move it up and down with my hand. So a big old propeller on there turning, that's going to have to be fixed. So that's where I'm at right now, trying to think about what am I going to do with this cowl, how I'm going to shear up this. And another thing I'm thinking about is like air going over this and air being sucked in. So, you know, I wonder if it's going to need more air ducts than what I already have. I mean, what I mean by that is if the motor gets hot, it'll turn itself off. So I may need more air ducts on the bottom to take some hot air out, or it may just suck enough air across it, it'll be fine. I need to ask somebody about that. So I moved it more in the center by just moving the clamp and the fiberglass. You can tell that's pretty close right there. But if you come back around, you can see now I have a big gap here. Now, if I were to do it this way, that gap wouldn't be a problem. I'll just Bondo that in and put some pop rivets and clean that up, and you'll never know that that's there. And then I'll put a fake panel line across there. And I can get a little extra room on this side, as you can see, by doing some sanding. So it's gonna have to be moved just a little bit, but that's pretty much in the center. So just by eyeballing it, that looks pretty good to me. So it's not gonna take much work to get this thing where it needs to be. Now the question is, with that much side thrust that this has, is that going to be correct? And that's something I have to look up. Okay, I went ahead and done it. It was a job getting this firewall out. If you look into the little window, you can see where the screwdriver's at. That's where the original firewall was at. If you look upon the part which I consider the firewall, is where the fiberglass is all molded in, where the X is. And that's where I want it to go. And it would be flush with the bottom piece of this. And to get this out, I've had to do some trimming and some work. And also these little plates had to come out. There's a little plate over here, and the way I got that out was just slowly go in here and start working the material to where I could pop it loose like that. And you can see the foam that's in here. But that's high sol, and you can see it's rock hard. You're not getting that off. And the foam, I just cut the foam out. Remember the door, there's a foam in there. So I just got in with the knife and cut that out, and was able to pop that out. That's the only way I could get this firewall back up through here to cut it down to where I can use it. Now I did end up damaging one side of the fuselage, getting the blocks out. I cracked the skin there on the one block, and the firewall ended up cracking the skin. And I can go back and fix those. Those won't be a problem. Even if there's a rivet or something, I can always put that back. So we'll fix that later. So I went ahead and pulled the door off. It just kept opening and getting in the way. And so I wanted to show you guys, you know, fiberglass outside and resin. But on the inside of these airplanes, there is a foam. And that's why you can't use CA on these. It'll just melt that away. So I've got a little piece that came off, and I'm going to glue that back. And I've got my high sol out, so I'm just going to glue all this back and put it back and fix this up to where it looks like new again. So some of the high sol bled out, so I'm going to use a piece of wax paper and put over it, and then sandwich everything together with that bar. And that'll smush everything down, and everything will come out nice and clean and smooth. There's everything set up, and I'll just let this sit for 24 hours, and that'll be like brand new. If you've made it this far through the video, thanks so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Also, leave some comments in the bottom and kind of let me know what you want to see, more detail or less. You know, I really would like to know. Also, remember to like and share, and also subscribe to my channel. It helps me out, know where we're at with some of this stuff. And then in part 5, stay tuned, because we're going to be mounting the engine, and that's going to be a pretty big deal there. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Thanks, guys. See you.